Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year, everybody. 2026. And, yeah, big show. We're going to have a big show for the first one of the year. So, just got back from the store, got a Little Caesar pizza and stuff. So, um, everything, all that. Yep. And Tim and Daniel. Yep. Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see what if we're going to get anything or something big happen this first week of January. I guess there was another mass shooting here. I'm going to show first thing. I just looked at YouTube and there was a JRL guy was on. Oh, there's only 3 in chat. Where's everybody at? Sleeping? Lucy? Carol? Who we got here? We got uh, Your Heart has finally welcome. Is this your first time in chat? That's my dog, Chico. You settle down. Settle down, Chico. Yeah, welcome and just be respectful. That's all I'm asking. Settle down. Oh, that's cool. Yep, you can call me Robert. You know, I'm like the sir. So. Settle down. Oh. Hang on a second. I gotta get Chico in the window. Come on. Come on. So, okay, we got a new person here. Said she or he or she. I don't know if he or she, but I think So, might I ask, and you know what state you're in? I'd like to ask to see what states people are from. Lori H is on time. You must don't have no grandkids today, huh? You're always busy with the grandkids. No, there's somebody walking through the hallway probably. But yeah, welcome. Your heart smiling. Oh, you're in Denver. I don't know how many people are from Denver. I don't think we got. Only one I remember is Deportable Chicken Head. Or satisfaction. Happy New Year. Yep, everybody. Closed out last night with a good show and come back fired up on the first show of 2026. A lot of stuff tonight, Tim. Okay, I hope you have your Coke there. Lucy. I'm happy that both my team lost, but I'm more happier that Ohio State lost last night. So that was good. But both teams lost, but I'm hoping Indiana can win. They got a big story for Indiana this year, undefeated. Yep, here we go again, Lucy. Year number what? 6? We're at the number 6 year. Hey, Mike. So Spas, that one named Spas, was asking about the lady from Australia. We got her tonight. She has a 26-minute one. We got the YouTube funny lady is 15 minutes. And all the rest of the stuff. Ariel, quiet. Okay. Well, she must have heard Chico barking. Hopefully Lisa will be in today. And Terry made it on time. All right. Yep, Happy New Year, Terry. Well, hopefully this will be the year, everybody, 2026. Everybody say it's there, it's there. And are you in here yet? Her boss must be visiting today, I think. Kimberly, and all the other ones, Dave, Colby, and so did you guys see Melania's dress last night? All in silver. I guess there was a daycare break. Oh, that's what it means. Okay, I figured that had been something, Mike. Yep. I'm gonna see. I got the death clock update too. We'll play that one first. Okay, I got a minute left here. I got to see if I can find that photo. Oh, and we got Terrence. I'm not sure. Where's all right. Oh well. Time to go. Tick tick tock. All right. Come on.
Check restaurants. House. Breaking news, breaking news. This gets more bizarre and crazy in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know if y'all have been following the daycare scandal controversy. A trooper by the name of Nick Shirley went to a place called Quality Learning Center,
That's 21. Say
Quality Hearing Center, and exposed 100 million fraud at daycares. In particular, that was one daycare. Well, there's another daycare here. This is a Nokomis Daycare, and a manager, a 20-year-old manager who was wearing designer glasses, $2,500 designer glasses, claims the daycare was broken into and people stole documents. This is getting wild. And a lot of people are saying this is a hoax. This wasn't a break-in. They are trying to hide something or play victim because they know they're going to go under investigation. This is insane, folks, out of Minneapolis. All eyes on Minneapolis with, the daycares and the other facilities out there, assistant homes. There's a lot of spotlight. Are they legit or they're not? But this guy right here, who's by the name, his name is Nasrallah Mohammed, speaks to the podium about a break-in at a daycare. And I want to share this with you because I think it's a hoax. I don't think he was telling the truth here. And I think this is all a lie. Check it out.
Good morning. My name is Nasrullah Mohammed. That is spelled Nasrullah I'm the manager at Nokomis Daycare Center. And today I want to talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner to our daycare. The cleaner called the owner and told him what happened and the vandalism that happened. The owner called us. Me and another manager came into the scene around 6 a.m. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As he came in, he broke a door from the wall from Family Dollar from the side. He couldn't, unfortunately, we don't know if that he went in or not, but we saw that it was damaged. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us for the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us. We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said. We have no problem with CCAP, and our licensing has been good, even the inspections. I want to say no intimidation is going to stop us from what is happening and upguiding our community.
Okay, so that was an update on that. We'll do Terrence, and then we'll do the clock lady. You guys remember if I did this one?
Use my language in this video because I don't know what I'm going to say, and I'm not holding back, and I don't care who I offend. I don't care. I am pissed off as an American taxpayer, as an American business owner, not just at the Somalians for committing fraud, but at the politicians that are in on the fraud. They are in on it. And not only that,
there's Ann.
I'm just now finding out
Boss
that our government is using our tax dollars to fund immigrants, Indians, who want to open up freaking janky gas stations all over America. Why are y'all using our money to give to these immigrants so they can open up a freaking convenience store, a gas station, or some janky car wash? And they are giving these people millions. There are some immigrants who are coming over here getting $4 to $5 million each so they can open up a freaking rundown gas station. When I know so many business owners who can't even afford to pay for marketing. They can't even qualify.
I don't think
for
an
SBA loan. They can't even qualify for a grant. I've been running my business for about 4 years now. I can't qualify right now for a small. I've been trying so hard to get a loan, a grant. Can't get one. And then to find out that I'm being forced to pay taxes so that they can give that money to an immigrant who don't pay taxes, give them money so they can open up a business? I'm pretty damn sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure there are a lot of Americans out here who would love to own a gas station. Wouldn't you? Pretty sure there are tons of Americans who would love to take $4 or $5 million and open up a store.
Chico.
There are so many Americans who struggle for funding. So many Americans who lost their businesses during COVID.
Chico.
And they can't even get help. They couldn't even get help. Had to shut down their businesses. There were mom and pop restaurants and businesses that were around for 20 to 30 to 40 years. And they had to close down because they couldn't get help to keep their doors open. But we sure can help these immigrants who come over here with nothing, no money, don't pay taxes, they don't contribute, but they can come over here and easily get $4 or $5 million damn dollars. And we got to pay sales tax. We got to pay property tax. We got to pay grocery tax, this tax, that tax, federal income tax. We damn near got to pay tax just to breathe. A tax to breathe in and a tax to breathe out. Some places got to pay gas. You got to pay gas tax. They taxing us every freaking way, from left to right, to east to west, to south to north. We are being taxed. We can't even open our eyes without being taxed. We can't even blink without being taxed. Every time we blink, there's a new tax. For what? And then we get threatened. We get threatened. If you can't pay your taxes, you have to work with the IRS, maybe set up a payment plan. If you don't got the money, if you're not approved for a payment plan and you don't have the money, they will take your property. They will freeze your bank account. They will take everything you worked hard for, every single thing, just so they can give it to a Somalian to open up a fake ass daycare. So they can give it to some Indian so he can open up a bullshit ass gas station. While small business owners who were born in this country work their asses off every single day, can't get help. Some people don't even qualify for their children to get a free damn school lunch. And we giving out millions of... Y'all, I'm mad because I know so many people, and every single body we all need to be mad. And I'm calling on President Trump to please put a pause on every American paying taxes until all this fraud until we figure out until we fix the fraud.
Big night up tonight, Paul.
Because why do we got to keep paying money to the government and the government can't even stop the fraud? So y'all know when we don't pay our taxes, but y'all don't know that somebody is defrauding the government for millions of dollars. Come on. And these politicians need to go to jail. Somebody needs to go to prison. Because if you don't pay your taxes, you can go to prison. You can go to prison if you do not pay your taxes. So if somebody is stealing tax dollars, then they should go to prison. Duh! If these politicians, these governors are allowing fraud, if they are in on the fraud, or even if they know about the fraud and they are allowing it to happen, then guess what? You are an accomplice. So you should literally be charged for tax fraud. We're still in government money. No taxpayers' money. Our money. It's common sense. We gotta stop. It just can't be one of us. We all have to stop giving the government our freaking money. We have to stop this now. We have to stop it now. And I feel so sorry for the people who have to close down their businesses because they couldn't even get a government loan or a government grant. I feel so sorry for them. It's bull crap. I'm going to be applying for an SBA loan. I want $10 million so I can open up my own warehouse, my own distribution center, my own manufacturing plant for my food brand. I want to open up all my own. I want to open up a whole operation, and maybe open up a grocery store. I want $20 million from the government. $20 million so I can open up a grocery store and so I can open up my own distribution and manufacturing facility. Mm-hmm.
Ryan, welcome. Is this your first time?
You think they're gonna give it to me? So I can
I'll take you.
Expand. Do you think they will give it to me? I bet you they won't. I gotta go find a Somalian or some Indian to help me get a loan. It's bullcrap. I don't even know where to begin because I'm so pissed off. So please excuse my.
Okay, that's the first. I don't remember playing that one. So we got a 8-minute death clock lady, you guys. I can't remember if we played that hers.
Not posted anything new since the 16th of December, which is also 16 days from January 1st. We are now seeing reports of new money or gold-plated quarters that are being circulated in the public.
The cashier in the store gave my change back, and he gave me these. I'm looking at it like, what the hell? He say, new money, new money.
Now, this is interesting because everything that's going on with silver right now, super high volatility. Around Christmas Eve, silver started exploding. It peaked at $79 and I think like 30-something cents until trading closed Friday night. Banks that have oversold the paper contracts cannot cover the shorts that they placed on the paper contracts. The Fed had to step in. COMEX put a margin on how much can be traded. Now we have China requiring licenses to purchase the silver starting January 1st. It's almost like we are at the peak of where silver, gold, and all of the metals and commodities are going to start reaching their real values, you guys. Now, I have seen some other videos similar to this posted in December of these new quarters that we're starting to see. I don't know how legit this is. It's pretty interesting, though, given everything that's going on with silver and metals market. Like I said, the last U.S. debt clock message that was posted on December 16th was the Great Jubilee and the wealth transfer in all of the commodities. We've got wheat or barley in the background. I don't know which one it is. We know that barley is harvested first and then the wheat second. So if this is the first harvest, then this would be barley. And we know biblically there is a separation of the wheat and the tare. I've also heard some theories that there will be a second harvest, I guess, or harpazo or rapture. I don't know, you guys. I'm still trying to piece this all together. Again, I am not a prophet. I'm just a decoder trying to piece these things together and how it applies biblically. If you pay attention to books like the Book of Enoch and the Book of Mormon, there is no AC, okay? Everything that happens is leading up to New Jerusalem and the second coming of Christ, the righteous being delivered out of so-called Egypt, restoration of God's kingdom, wealth of the wicked is being taken from them. All of these things we have seen happening all up until this point. Those of us that have followed this for many years and prepared ourselves are seeing things fall into place as we speak. It is also interesting the fact that Iran declared WAR on the West and Israel and Europe right before the new year, okay? And yesterday, Trump posted this very cryptic post about windmills unaliving our beautiful bald eagles. But this is not an eagle. This looks or appears to be a hawk. And if you zoom into the picture, it has 911 on the right side of it. Now, if you look closer, this is not English, okay? So I looked it up, and this picture comes from the Times of Israel. It is an article of an environment minister seeking a moratorium on new wind farms to probe impact on nature. This is weird because this is obviously not a bald eagle. The original photo from the Times of Israel does not include the 911 on the side of it. There's a very blatant 13 or a 13 on this turbine, wind turbine. So it's really, really interesting to me because the original picture, again, does not have the 9/11 timestamp on it. I've heard a lot of speculation about silver, January 2nd and 3rd, and possibly even the 4th being high watch days for silver. I don't know if 1-3 has any meaning to January 3rd or what, but it's very odd, okay? He posted this 2 days before January 1st, a new year, and has this date on there. And Trump could also be indicating that these windmills that are actually located in Golan Heights in Israel are having a catastrophic effect on the bald eagle country. These are all just theories, you guys. This is not actually happening. It's pure speculation. It is odd given the date right here. That's not on the original photo. And biblically, we know that the wings of an eagle are plucked off of the lion and taken up into the sky, being elevated and made stand as a man standing upright. And Israel is left to defend itself on its own. While America, the New Jerusalem with the wings of an eagle, is taken up by itself, given its sovereignty, living under God's laws. Okay, so each person would get their sovereignty back. And if you guys have been paying attention to my calls for my X Spaces, where I have David Arnold has been going over the sovereignty, how it applies to Metallicus and the XPR network. He explains how all this aligns with the LDS Church and what Joseph Smith tried to do before he was unalived when he was running for president. Same thing happened with John F. Kennedy. Before I get any backlash, you guys have to realize and think about the bigger picture here. Why was he so much of a threat to the Christian churches who keeps you locked into Babylon? They don't give you your sovereignty. What Joseph Smith tried to do is give people their sovereignty and create a system that worked outside of the Babylonian system. He was so much of a threat to these elite Christian leaders that they wanted him unalived. You guys need to go listen to those calls, those X Spaces that are held on mine, you guys. And he goes into so much detail. And he talks about the whole restoration that the U.S. debt clock has been showing us. Everything that's happening with the restoration of the U.S. Republic, the restoration of our financial system, the restoration of the church, all of it aligns with the LDS Church, you guys. For eyes to see and ears to hear, you guys go listen to those X Spaces on my X profile. It's at Mayrocks on X. Go search it up on the X Spaces. Everything discussed in those calls will blow your mind. You will understand what Metallicus is doing. Have the whole system set up. It's the first system or blockchain that has all its licenses and regulations, all compliant. There's no other system that's compliant, that's ready to go. It is the only sovereign system where you hold your own keys, and the global system that all the big banks are going to be under with XRP. The terms and conditions are not yours. The only system where the terms and conditions are completely sovereign, where you hold your own wealth with your own keys, is through Metallicus and the XPR network. Anyways, I only have 2 X Spaces on my X account. Go to the X Spaces on X and look up at Mayrocks, Maerox, and you'll find the 2 X Spaces there. listen to them and come back for more information. Now, with all that being said, you guys, I hope all of you have a happy new year. Please be safe. And 2026, especially the first week of 2026, is going to be really exciting to see what happens with silver and everything else. So anyway, I'm going to keep you guys up.
Okay, latest on there with the duck park, lady. So I got a 12-minute one. I can't remember on this one, you guys. It'll tell me if we played it. I believe it's new because I don't think I played it.
America, the new world. Our nation began not as an idea invented in the minds of men, but as a land discovered. When Christopher Columbus looked west across the endless ocean, he sailed for glory, for gain, and for God. 3 ships traveled into the unknown, daring to go where no man had gone before. What they discovered changed the course of history. They carved homes out of the wilderness. By the sweat of their brow, they built a new world, rooted in the European civilization they left, but infused with the spark of liberty. In time, that spark grew. Galloping through the midnight darkness, Paul Revere warned the colonists that the hour had come to choose. Freedom or tyranny, liberty or death.
What do you think, Lucy?
With the shot heard round the world, a ragged band of patriots challenged the mightiest empire on earth. Starving, outnumbered, and outgunned, the Americans had little reason for hope. But General Washington kept the flame alive, leading his soldiers through the frozen misery of Valley Forge, against all odds. With the aid of our allies like France's Marquis de Lafayette, Spain's Bernardo de Galvez, and Poland's Tadeusz Kościuszko, America won one of the greatest military victories the world had ever seen. By the hand of Providence and the strength of determined men and women, the United States of America was born. And with her, words that echo throughout eternity. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Founding Fathers had built a nation upon the principles of our Declaration of Independence and the foundation of our remarkable Constitution. A government conceived in liberty.
13 minutes. Is this okay
It
so
derived
far?
its just powers from the consent of the governed. A burning torch of freedom that would rise across a continent. And one day, shine its light upon the entire world.
There they go. Happy New Year.
With perseverance, faith, blood, and courage, the 13 colonies have become the 13 United States of America. But destiny beckoned our young nation to even greater heights. Like Columbus before them, settlers looked west to the lush forests of the Deep South, the rich soil of the Ohio Valley, the frozen lakes of the untamed North, and beyond, past the mighty Mississippi, to the Great Plains that stretched like an untouched sea, eager to be crossed, safely separated from Europe's wars. President Thomas Jefferson purchased the vast Louisiana territory from France. Overnight, the United States doubled in size, adding millions of acres stretching from New Orleans to the snow-capped peaks of Montana. To explore this new territory, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were sent to chart a path through the remote frontier. They set out on a perilous journey. For over 2 years and nearly 8,000 miles, the expedition endured brutal winters, starvation, impenetrable terrain, and dangers few dared to face. Yet as they pressed on, they discovered the wonder that is America. Thunderstorms racing over the plains, the Rockies reaching to the heavens, plants and animals unseen in the old world, and at long last, the glory of the Pacific Ocean. Inspired by their courage, pioneers rode west in covered wagons to claim their stake in America. Families and adventurers, farmers, cowboys, miners, missionaries, each one driven by the timeless yearning to build a future by the grace of God and with their own two hands. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, blessed by God, completed her journey across the wilderness, extending her domain and forging the character of a people destined to shape the world. In the beginning, before the engines roared, before the cities rose, America was a storm. Raw, restless, crackling with energy. Until Benjamin Franklin harnessed the power of the heavens invention was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In a small workshop in New Jersey, a young inventor named Thomas Edison toiled with wires, glass, thread, and metal, until at long last, his work radiated forth to tell the world, "Let there be light." American genius lit the spark that illuminated the world, casting out the darkness, revealing the order and beauty of God's creation for all mankind to see. With light came the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Americans began inventing miracles that transformed humanity. For millennia, mankind had moved by horse and foot, until Ford perfected the automobile. Mankind crafted with our hands, until Americans revolutionized the steam turbine, the electric motor, and the internal combustion engine. Mankind built with wood and bricks, until American workers lifted high-towering giants of concrete and steel. Industry gave birth to great American cities, monuments to American ingenuity, cathedrals of American ambition. From this mighty industrial engine came the arsenal of freedom, the ships, planes, and tanks that allowed heroic American soldiers to rescue the world from tyranny in 2 world wars, and to defeat the communist menace through the long Cold War. With grit and strength and sweat, our forebears built the freest, proudest, most prosperous nation the world had ever seen. And today, high above our city streets, the skylines still bear the mark of their handiwork, a testament etched in steel and stone, forever recalling our glory as Americans. We are a people who never stop building.
Okay, 6 minutes.
Never stop climbing.
6 minutes.
Never stop dreaming. Never stop striving for greatness. Our nation was forged not by fate, but by the unbreakable will of the citizens who call this land home. With our genius and industry, we built the wonders of the modern world, and our greatest works are yet to come. On a windswept beach in North Carolina, 2 American brothers prepared to transcend the laws of physics. With a sputtering engine and the handmade craft of canvas and wood, the Wright brothers lifted mankind into the sky. In the clouds above, the world grew smaller, and America grew greater than ever before. But for the United States, the sky has never been the limit. Within 66 years, a single human lifespan, America American astronauts broke free from the Earth, stretched their hands through the endless void, and planted the stars and stripes on the face of the moon. America brought mankind into the space age as we took our place among the stars. A new revolution began here at home. Computers born in a Pennsylvania lab opened a new frontier. Americans linked the world with the internet, putting the light of knowledge within reach of all. We pioneered new technologies and new industries, sparking the greatest explosion of prosperity the world had ever seen. Now we stand on the threshold of yet another frontier. Artificial intelligence, robotics, quantum computing. America is once again forging the future and shaping the centuries to come. The pioneer spirit of the American people brought us across oceans, established a nation in liberty, drew us across a continent, and raised us into the clouds. It still beckons us to begin new journeys of discovery, daring us to once again dream the impossible and imagine the wonders waiting among the stars.
Yep.
And perhaps someday our descendants will plant the American flag on distant worlds, carrying the light of liberty to the farthest corners of creation, reminding all generations that for the United States of America, there is no frontier too far, no dream too bold, no horizon beyond our reach.
So how was that one, you guys? I'm going to do a couple short ones, and then I'm going to get to our Australia lady. JJ in here yet? Oh.
Involved in the Feeding Our Future stuff. He made a very rare appearance before cameras and basically said Tim Walz was lying. He said there is no way we would restart payments after we were told to stop. That would put us in serious trouble. That did not happen. He's making it up. He probably said that because he was called before a House committee in D.C. to answer about the Feeding Our Future. And he just kind of passed it off. Tried to find video of that, but I've not been able to find it yet. But yeah, fraudster. How did that state go through so much money when it looks like in Minneapolis, the pictures I've seen and the things I've heard from people, Minneapolis has kind of gone down. It's not a very safe city to hang out in. So, episode 1 of Tim Walz' corruption in Minnesota, it's going to get crazier. This is just a teeny tiny little tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to uncover. There's Medicaid fraud, Medicare fraud, drug rehab facilities, daycares, I've got a list of things we can unpack. China, the lockdowns, George Floyd riots, his trans agenda. Oh, and let's not forget about his trips to China and some of the things that were uncovered there and relationships he developed there. So we got a lot to unpack and talk about.
So that's our Minnesota lady that does a good job.
Of the year. I welcome you. I am so blessed here yet another year and be able to hang with y'all. And as I've been doing a little bit of research, as I've been looking into some things, I've had many people that have reached out to me and they've said, "Hey, Q, why are you continuing to look backwards? We need to look forward. We need to figure out how to save our country." When people show you who they truly are, you need to believe them. These people were so brazen, so emboldened during the last administration. They showed us what they really wanted, and they showed us who they truly were. If we don't learn from that, then we're doomed to fall into the same traps that were set. So yesterday, couple days ago, there was a lot of information that was released on the Jack Smith investigation. So if you remember correctly, Jack Smith dropped like 30 some odd indictments against Donald Trump, some for obstruction, which were thrown out, some for classified documents, which, mishandling of classified documents, which was really, really a weak one, right? I mean, the president of the United States is the only person in government who can unilaterally declassify documents with the stroke of a pen. So the question was always, why would Trump risk taking documents away that he could just simply sign off on, declassify them, and go his merry way? So how does the president take classified documents? That plus there was already precedent because every president up until then had taken classified documents. And oh yeah, the current president at that time, Joe Biden, as a vice president without any type of power to declassify documents, had classified documents sitting in his garage with no security whatsoever. And the DOJ decided, it wasn't worth pursuing. So how then could you pursue it against the actual president of the United States? So that was going nowhere. So in a closed door meeting with the Congress, we now have a deposition that was done. That deposition that took place with Jack Smith reveals everything. Now, they asked him, how can you say that Donald Trump didn't have the right to say that he felt that he won the election? That's covered under his First Amendment. Jack Smith agreed. Yes, he's has the right to say that. Yes, if he feels that way, that's fine. They said, so for him to say that the election was wrought with fraud, how is that not covered under his First Amendment right? Jack Smith goes on to say that he does not have the right to target a lawful government function, that is not covered under your First Amendment right. Well, pray tell, what do we need a First Amendment for if we do not have the right to question what is classified as a government function? I can't think of a better reason for a First Amendment right than for that right alone. We see no transparency within our government. Even when they release documents that we need and deserve to see, they're fully redacted. We can't read or make sense of them. Everything gets redacted. Everything gets classified. So there's no transparency whatsoever. So all the government would have to do, according to Jack Smith, and say that is a government function that is being carried out. Imagine what that would have done if that would have been gone. There was a precedent set in that Donald Trump indictment. Imagine if they were able to convict Donald Trump and say that you could not target lawful government functions. At that point, the First Amendment would be dead. Anytime we spoke out against something that was being done, whether it be at our school board, whether it be in bringing illegals across the border, whatever it might have been, we would have immediately been able to be jailed and convicted for speaking out against a lawful government function. This is what they wanted. This is what they want. We cannot let them win. I'll see you guys next time. Be blessed.
Okay, got a couple short ones, and then we'll do the Australia lady.
It's one that's been making headlines across the nation today, where 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses were shot in the early morning hours after a man dressed as law enforcement showed up at their home and opened fire. State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered, while State Senator John Hoffman and his wife are in critical condition following emergency surgery. So I did some digging the minute this story broke, and I have found some pretty explosive details. And legacy media, they're not reporting on all of it. There is a shocking connection between the suspect and lawmakers in Minnesota. First, though, this is 57-year-old Vance Luther Boatler, now wanted by police. He's the director of security patrols for a Minnesota-based private security firm. Now, that role could explain how Boatler had access to a law enforcement-style vehicle and uniform. His company's website also shows that he worked in Gaza and other global conflict zones. It also says he's received training from private firms and U.S. military personnel. Now, here's where it gets even more unsettling. Boatler was appointed by Governor Tim Walz in 2019 to a Minnesota workforce board. His certificate of appointments reads, quote, "Because of the special trust and confidence I have in your integrity, judgment, and ability, I've appointed and commissioned you to have and to hold the office of business member." That special trust did not age well. Now, here's something curious. Just last week, Representative Melissa Hortman got emotional during a speech. She was the only Democrat to vote no on a bill that would provide taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision. I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
Hortman's decision faced immediate backlash by the left. Watch this.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
So as you saw there, her vote sparking major outrage and her even acknowledging the backlash. Now, we can't confirm that this political fallout was a motive in her death, but it certainly does raise some serious questions. As for the shooter, according to reports on Ground News, the suspect's vehicle contained a target list with the names of Governor Tim Walz, Representative Omar Ilhan, and other prominent Democrats. Now, what's interesting, the reason I bring you to Ground News is it'll show you how each side of the political aisle will cover the story. I have explosive new details.
Okay, I don't know what was 2025. That can't be that old.
Context. Now watch these same people draw conclusions about Trump using documents that provide no context. Meanwhile, at Brown University, administrators are facing calls to resign after learning CCTV cameras were removed at the request of activist groups before the campus shooting that left 2 people dead and 9 others injured. And it gets worse. A janitor, he noticed the shooter actively, suspiciously going in and out of classrooms and the bathroom. He said something fell off, so he notified a third-party security company on campus 3 times. He notified them about the suspect, and nothing was done.
And I had said to him, I had caught him the last time on December 1st, and I was right behind him as he was coming in the building. I was coming back from my break, and I went right to the ESS staff. And I had said to the ESS staff member, I said, "Hey, this guy looks suspicious." I said, "He just went in the bathroom." I said, "You should go check him out." He's like, "I'm not here for that."
Once again, after a shooting, we found out the red flags were there, and this could have been prevented if anyone in charge had actually bothered to act. Anyone who was directly warned and chose to do nothing should be fired immediately. I mean, think about this. The janitor had the awareness to know something was off, and a former student who's now homeless is the one who identified the suspect for law enforcement. Meanwhile, the highly paid administrators and top officials completely dropped the ball. From the university to law enforcement, I mean, this has been an absolute failure at every level. Well, now, as a result of that, the Trump administration is stepping in. They're launching an investigation into Brown University to basically determine whether the Ivy League school is even meeting basic campus safety requirements. If not, they can pull funding. And here comes the damage control. Brown's police chief, Rodney Chapman, he's finally being placed on leave weeks after the shooting. This looks a lot less like leadership and a lot more like covering themselves, because his track record, not exactly stellar. He was previously hired as head of campus security at the University of Utah, suspended almost immediately for lacking proper credentials and forced to resign. Brown's response? We'll take him. Even better, just before this shooting, Brown's own police union issued a vote of no confidence on Chapman, accusing him of endangering officers and creating a toxic work environment. So yes, this was entirely predictable. Now, over in California, ICE is doing the job Gavin Newsom won't. Federal agents just arrested more than 100 illegal alien truck drivers after a sting of deadly crashes tied to California-issued commercial driver's licenses. Turns out, handing out CDL licenses to people who can't read English, road signs, or pass the test isn't great for public safety. Who would have guessed? At least 8 people are dead now, and many of these drivers left California and took the danger nationwide. One driver failed his CDL at least 10 times. 10! Still got licensed, and later killed 3 people in Florida. But don't worry, Newsom says everything's fine. ICE, they had to step in, where California refused to do anything, pulling these drivers off the road before more families are destroyed. And speaking of, remember the illegal immigrant truck driver accused of causing a fatal crash on a Washington state highway? He's been released. Federal officials say local authorities ignored an ICE detainer, didn't even bother bringing a case against him, and just let him walk.
Despite that ICE detainer, not only did Seattle's King County release him, it never even presented a case against 25-year-old Kamalpreet Singh, an Indian national who illegally crossed the border in 2023. Released by the Biden administration with a work permit, Singh got a California commercial driver's license, despite rules against giving CDLs to non-citizens.
An illegal immigrant kills somebody, and the system's response is nothing? No charges, no jail, just a Christmas release? How is this even real life? I mean, we have a...
Okay. We're going to play the YouTube lady, and then we'll play the Australia lady.
Job. We're lucky. We have it easy. So much time off. You have zero clue what all it takes to be a teacher.
Do you think these teachers are wrong for snapping? Or is this what happens when a system keeps piling pressure on and pretending everything is fine? So today we're taking a look into teachers that haven't just burned out, they're crashing out. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Society has changed, classrooms have changed, and respect for teachers has pretty much vanished. Kids are more disruptive, parents are less supportive, expectations keep going up, while pay stays painfully low, and stress is at an all-time high. So when you see a teacher rage quit or completely lose it on camera, the question isn't just, was that unprofessional? It's what exactly pushed them there in the first place. Let's get into the clips and talk about what teaching today actually looks like, because this is way, way bigger than just some viral clips on TikTok. Wow. What did these kids do to her? Damn.
A former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids, probably until they go to college.
Hannah is a former teacher, and she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it.
And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things. Yeah. So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just...
So I have 2 sons. I have a son that's almost 20 and I have one that is 10. And I thought that it was quite shocking how little they write in class. So I want to say by the age of 12, they switched from handwriting entirely to just typing everything on a computer. Like I remember my oldest son, they were all assigned Chromebooks and all of their work was done on Chromebooks and submitted electronically. There was no more handwriting after age like 11 or 12. Frankly, I was shocked to see that my youngest actually learned cursive in 3rd grade. I thought that they stopped cursive because my older son didn't learn it. I think part of the problem here is that technology should be used as a tool, but it's almost like schools are encouraging students to make it a way of life. Whatever happened to doing worksheets and handwriting stuff and turning it in? When did everything start needing to be done on the computer? What, just because our society is highly technological, that means that all of our students need to not do things old school? I think that's part of the problem because I think we are inadvertently teaching our kids that they just need to be on computers and phones all the time.
All my projects getting fucked up. Why y'all taking these projects? Let me do this. Let me do this. You said you're all my projects getting fucked up. Why y'all taking these projects? Let me do this. Let me do this.
So I wouldn't call that a crash out, but clearly that teacher is frustrated.
Oh, y'all know about me, but you gotta ask. Hello, my name is G, and I don't play that. I don't play that disrespect. I don't play that. You supposed to be in the bathroom, you run out. I'm moving your desk, baby. I got to. Cause you gonna have to move this stuff. Oh, y'all know about me, but you gotta ask. Hello, my name is G, and I don't play that.
Miss G don't play that. Man.
Defiance. But the fire thing, that's you know it's wrong. Give me 4-0.
It is not wrong. Go look at the dates. You didn't work on those dates. You get the grade you deserve. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Hey, you're kind of just G.
I mean, she didn't really rage, but I understand. She's telling the students, you get the grade that you deserve. And she says, I'm not talking to you about it anymore. I think that's valid. And I actually think that she handled her anger very, very professionally.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready to...
Get serious. I saw you. I walked in on you opening the fridge, putting your fucking dick in the milk. I never get milk. And the one time I do, there's fucking...
What? So the caption on this says, my teacher crashing out on the phone mid-class. Is he talking to his son? So this teacher's not even screaming at the students. This teacher's yelling at his own kid on the phone. And I'm not even going to repeat what he's upset about. Why is he doing that in the middle of the classroom where all of these students can hear it? What?
Keep their mouth shut and clear off the table, clear off the floor, and stop talking. Put your phone down. Keep their mouth shut and clear off the table, clear off the floor.
I mean, on the last day of school for the year, it's probably a valid crash out. Let's just be real.
You quit? You disrespected by anybody. I don't know who you people think you are, but you don't treat anybody like this. It's not funny.
You know what? I feel really bad for this teacher. So it says that the teacher quit on the third day of school. How frustrating and embarrassing must this be for an adult to be snickered at and mocked when they're walking out of the classroom? Like, I don't know, obviously, what happened prior to this, like what made this teacher quit on the third day, but obviously this teacher just had enough of this class. In only 3 days of school, had enough of this class. And while he's walking out, having to just listen to children snicker and laugh when he's leaving, obviously upset. Like, the amount of disrespect that I feel from this video and the amount of frustration, it's very uncomfortable. Wow. Of all of these teacher crash outs that I've seen, he seems the most angry, does he not? I mean, so some might say he's over, he should not yell at a student. He shouldn't swear like that at a student. But my God, you could feel the frustration. And the fact that this student was standing on a desk in an act of rebellion, no wonder he dropped an F-bomb. So now that we've seen some crash outs and some outbursts from teachers in the classroom, let's hear from some teachers exactly why they're either quitting or crashing out.
Reasons teachers are leaving the profession. I had to take off school today because I'm behind in grading and lesson planning with everything else going on at work. Teaching is the only job where you have to take off work in order to do your work. There's not enough time in the day to get it all done. Teachers are exhausted. I'm taking my time off to work, not to do something fun. So this is one of those reasons why teachers are leaving.
Baby, listen. Them teachers quitting left and right. And I don't blame them.
Guys.
At this point, y'all, I just need to start a documentary. There is no way that it's 11:15 and I'm on the brink of tears.
Baby, I know you ain't lying. I went sub for 2 days. The third day, I pulled my children out the school.
Because I want to go home so bad. These kids are horrible. Horrible.
Most of them horrible because of the parents. No accountability whatsoever, baby.
They don't care about learning. The parents don't hold them accountable. They don't make their kids hold themselves accountable. The admin does not hold the parents of the children accountable.
And it's so sad because some of those teachers really want those children to be better. But how can they be better when they don't have the help of the parents? Like, some of these parents are really horrible, y'all. And then they want to send them children to school because they don't want to deal with them.
They say they hold the kids accountable, but they go to the office and they come back and they do the same thing. It's awful.
And it's sad because instead of the teachers getting help from the parents, they get pushed back most of the time. Those teachers are tired, y'all. Get your children. Teach your children. And if you don't want them to be corrected, maybe you should stay home with them.
Yeah, realistically, it starts at home.
What do you think on
it
this
starts
one,
with
Kate?
the upbringing, the amount of disrespect that a lot of children, even teenagers, because let's be real, teenagers are still children. They are not adults. That girl that was standing on the desk, she was on a desk trying to exert some sort of dominance over her authority figure, her teacher. Where'd she learn to think that that was okay? Stuff like that starts at home. And I really feel for these teachers. Like I've said, I have a couple of friends that are teachers, and the stories that I hear about not just the kids, but the parents, the pushback is real. These parents think that they know better, and they just simply treat teachers like babysitters. They don't hold their kids accountable. They don't follow up, and they're not on the same page with the teachers, and teachers get frustrated. And that's what's leading to all of these outbursts in the classroom.
Turning hiding spots into honey holes.
A message to anyone out there who thinks that teachers have it easy just because we have time off. I have 2 hours left of my school day and I'm leaving because I'm so stressed out between all the requirements that our district offers and the students' behavior, their lack of trying, their apathy for school, parents that don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't answer phones. They don't discipline their kids, and kids who feel like they're going to commit suicide because they're getting bullied. You have no idea what it's like being a teacher. You have no idea. I don't want to hear a person ever in the history of ever say that this job, we're lucky, we have it easy, we get so much time off. You have zero clue what all it takes to be a teacher.
Well, I definitely understand where this guy's coming from and feel for him in dealing with the disrespect from students. And I think teachers need a certain amount of power in their classrooms to do their jobs, right? I think one of the problems that we have in so many schools today is that students can act with impunity. They don't really have to respect the teacher's authority because they know nothing's going to happen to them. Their parents are not going to do anything. Their principal's not going to do anything to them. There are no real consequences. And, we have to wonder, what position are we really putting adults in when they're responsible for students? They're responsible for student learning, but they don't have any power to do anything when the student is disrespectful, when the student is disrupting the learning environment. And I don't know the situation, so I don't want to defend anybody, too much or be too critical of anybody here. But I think it's a good wake-up call for us that teachers need power, right? As a teacher, you need authority in your classroom. And if a student is undermining that authority, maybe they're talking under their breath and being disrespectful, maybe they're cussing you out, I don't know, whatever it may be, you need some recourse. You need some authority to maintain legitimacy in that environment. And when we repeatedly take away teachers' power, when we say you can't give detention anymore, you can't give...
That's the thing too. Authority figures are expected to be softer on children. And I understand, teachers are not the parents. They should not be able to spank your kids in the classroom. That I understand. But taking away things like detention or dishing out extra homework if the students need some sort of punishment to be held accountable for behavior in class, why is that not allowed anymore? Some form of detention should be allowed. Yeah, you might not be able to keep them after school because, they'll miss a bus or they might not have a ride home. But why not give them a lunch detention? Why not make them come in early for school? Why not dish them out some extra homework so that they might feel less inclined to disrupt a classroom? Because let's be real, it's likely that most times students are getting in trouble. It's because they are disrupting the classroom, not necessarily because they're not doing their work, but they're probably disrupting the classroom in some way. If teachers had a little bit more ability to punish that kind of behavior, it could possibly result in less disruptions of the classroom and less teachers crashing out. Why are we getting so soft? I understand why teachers are frustrated. They're the authority figure of their classroom and we're handicapping them. After watching all of that, it's pretty clear that this is not just about a few viral moments. Teaching has turned into one of the most thankless, underpaid, high-stress jobs out there. And somehow we still expect teachers to hold it all together while the rules, the respect, and the support keeps disappearing. Some of these teachers crossed a line, no question, but a lot of them look like people that were already drowning before a student hit record. So I'm kind of curious where you land. Do you think these teachers are wrong for snapping? Or is this what happens when a system keeps piling pressure on and pretending everything is fine? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you like videos like this,
okay, our YouTube lady there to discussing the school stuff today. Okay. I don't think we played this one.
Oh,
26.
It's just getting the last minute instructions, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Wacky Wednesday.
Wow, what a year it has been,
I don't think we played
ladies
this
and
one,
gentlemen,
right?
and we have so much more to look forward to. I hope you
Yep,
enjoyed the
well-
little short video, not the video, but the voice message I put out yesterday that sort of resembles December and basically where we are heading. So let's have a look at some good old fundamentals through this whole year. As we reflect
There
moving
you are.
into, of course, a happy new year to all of those in the Southern Hemisphere. I'll get to all of you very shortly. But let's have a look at where we've been, where we're going, and what is to come, because this is a boom shakalaka year, let me tell you. So January, of course, we saw the Trump tariffs begin. Seems like only yesterday, doesn't it? Well, the Pentagon also ditched the whole Black History Month and all those other observances such as LGBT and things like that as well. So we sort of saw all of these many implementations happen in January of this year just gone. Out of the Shadows documentary, of course, that was the revealing of all the satanicism and things like that as well. So how we forget where we have come. So there's been a lot of disclosure this year as well. But also what happened in January, of course, was the Ripple XRP and SEC case. And of course, the silver market was $373 million in paper ounces. And look where we are today. Very, very excited to go from January to all of those paper ounces to where we are now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is looking hot, hot, hot. In February, of course, the copper imports. Now, we've been touching a little bit on copper. One of my favourites, not financial advice, as I always say, but copper imports are threatening the national security in February. Why is that? Because when you import the copper in from other countries, it's supporting the currency rates of those countries such as Chile, Peru, and Zambia, which are our three highest copper countries in the world. But this benefits them, not the imported stock coming in as well. But we're going to touch on that little subject a little bit later in the show, but just keep that one in mind as we progress. The stock market, of course, surged $825 billion. It was in the green in February. And of course, then Trump holds his first crypto summit. And that's when the whole turmoil around Bitcoin come into play, which we'll talk about in a little bit more depth at some point. In March of 2025, we saw the Ripple and Stellar integrated their services into XRP Ledger. Please understand, if you don't follow crypto, it's irrelevant. This is all on the XRP Ledger. This is your quantum blockchain, your banking system or your banking platform. Why is that important? Because, of course, Ripple is on Stellar. Stellar is that for the people. It is also backed by silver. The silver lining is Stellar. What is also interesting, in March, of course, the digital bonds went on blockchain. And Iraq, their transport international routers were launched. They were probably launched, I think, back in COVID, to be quite frank. Frank 26, hello. But in the day of COVID, what happened is that Iraq actually closed their ports and all their borders to implement these important routers for international trading and blockchain payments with all their trade. So this is very important, as this eliminated the corruption on their borders. So every time they announce these things, understand it is already occurred or happened, okay? So in April 2025, we saw Europe went dark in blackouts. But let me share this with you. We're also seeing Argentina had a blackout. We touched on that in a little bit on the Thrilling Tuesday. But here's the thing I want to bring to everyone's attention. How far we have come is that Stellar and Ripple can work offline. They are also off-planet. Something to digress. and digest. We will talk more about that as well. Apple Pay in April allowed shoppers to spend crypto and settle in stablecoins. T-Mobile connected to the XDC network. And that's connected to copper, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, the Basel III implementation came into play back in April. It only feels like yesterday. In May, of course, we saw the onset of the Doge. The Doge payments started to really kick in. And I think Elon, in May, left Doge because he'd done his job. But Texas also established that on 0, which means the gold and silver digital currency as back. Texas. I think Colorado, Mama and I were talking about Texas the other day. Anyway, Iraq oil and gas laws came into play, and of course their support from SpaceX also happened as well. Do you start to see how this all comes together? Their structure and energy and technology was the key focus in May in Iraq, and boy, have they come in leaps and bounds. In June, we saw record highs in the stock market again, where the Federal Reserve went worldwide system upgrade through Amex, American Express card. The big, beautiful bill. It came out in June. How lest we forget. Of course, it's called the greatest transfer of wealth in history, ladies and gentlemen. This is your tax cuts of 68% this year. What are they going to do next year? Would we go to 1% like DJT said? We'll wait and see. In July of 2025, Vietnam fulfilled its requirements across the world, and they are now ready for the GCR, the Global Currency Reset. They were part of course, the next part, which is directly focusing on the American First Trade Policy. It was investigating those countries such as Vietnam and their currency manipulation. And this ties back into what we were talking about for the month of February, the copper trades and the tariffs, and all of that comes into the full circle now. The currency manipulation and undervaluing has gained trade advantages for Vietnam. That was actually meant to happen, so as their country can rebuild, of course, after the war-torn effects of Vietnam War. So DJT also, of course, as a reminder, in 2017 I think it might have even been earlier than that, where he talked about currency manipulation, and boy, did it take effect in July under the America First Trade Policy. In August, of course, Japan launched its digital currency for early in 2026. Do they also come online on the 1st of January? The tsunami begins in Japan. XRP, of course, no longer needs banks. That was the announcement from Ripple. The use of stable coins, and they transfer across 50 plus markets in the world now. And I think it's actually increased. I think it's about 80 now. And of course, in August, lest we forget, the $5 million gold card visa was released. Interesting. We're seeing gold visas. I think I posted quite a few articles about other countries talking about their gold visa card as well. This ties into the onset of what I've been talking about for some years about we'll have diplomatic immunity across the board in certain ways, or certain aspects of that anyway. September, of course, the SEC is exploring to plan to allow blockchain-based versions of stocks to trade on crypto exchanges. This has been going on in the background for quite some time. This is the reason I talk about the trading platform, or the stock exchange payment platform, being integrated through the banks. And this is certainly one of those. They released that in September. This was also the onset of the commencement of the task force with the New York Stock Exchange and the intercontinental exchanges to discuss that, of course, being the crypto regulations, and the Clarity Act then came into play. This was a huge month. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, September was the biggest month I've ever seen in the technical side or the implementation side of our new quantum system. So, I remember that being one of the biggest months ever. October, banking reform advancements in Iraq. They came out in October, and boy, did the Iraq set the precedence of their advancements in technology. The IMF also said that to adopt an asset in sovereign nations, we've been talking about sovereign funds and sovereign nations for quite some time, they must adopt the XRP ledger. So that was coming from the IMF / World Bank / BRICS pay system, the payment system in BRICS. As I said, this was the Clarity Act, which opened the door to our global network, that being our quantum system. So that was only done in October. It feels like forever, but it wasn't that long ago. In November, ladies and gentlemen, of course, the biggest month as well. This is where we saw the ISO 222 messaging system being implemented. Boy, oh boy, that was a boom shakalaka moment, wasn't it? This was the old fork into the new fork, the old SWIFT banking system being integrated and going quantum. This is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. It was only in November. Seems like a long time ago. Iraq is supporting Syria. Well, we just saw the last article I posted just before I came onto the show regarding Syria and, of course, their currency and what have you. As I said, this is all to do with currency and trade swaps and how they're all supporting each other as they progress. So in November, the Prime Minister of Iraq was in the same room with Syria. So how interesting. It only seems like yesterday this all happened. The silver breaks out. Yes, it started to really break, and this is where we started to see, of course, the silver and the silver lining of our new quantum system come into play. The Philippines Digital Asset Exchange. Never before have I heard them talking about digital asset exchange in the Philippines. The Philippines, of course, is where a lot of funds, certain funds, are coming from. So this is very important. But Philippines also talks about the tokenization of stocks, bonds, and going mainstream. So don't think that these countries have been sitting around twiddling their thumbs, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the biggest year of the biggest fundamentals that I have ever seen across the 11 and a half years I've been involved in all of this. Of course, back in Iraq, Al-Alaq in Iraq, talking about their digital currency is underway. As I said earlier, if they're telling you it's underway, it is already done, ladies and gentlemen. This is to solve not 70%, but about 90% of their financial woes in that country. So there is a lot to be very, very, very excited about. As we said the other day, the new F word is fundamentals, and that is very, very important. So let's go back and have a little touch up about what I touched on Tuesday. We talked about King Charles. Does that come into actual play? Do we actually officially hear of his passings? We will see, as I said, with all the banknotes, and the changes in the banknotes often occur when there's a change of reign. So keep an eye out on that. The one that I did want to touch on, of course, is Argentina did have a blackout. I was so excited when I saw that. This blackout, and of course, as I said, the Falkland Islands used to be, well, is still part of Argentina, where the Brits tried to create a hoo-ha about that, and then all of a sudden they're having a blackout. This blackout, I will guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, was to implement their new currency system in Argentina. Keep an eye out on Argentina because, as I said, the new Falkland Island currency notes that were coming out is telling me and indicating that there is a pegging going on there. And when I saw the blackout, that is one way of implementing a new quantum system. Get very excited. We saw many countries such as Argentina and, of course, Venezuela's, who we follow in the currency revaluation, that have a lot of currencies that have been manipulated and devalued so many times that I think in Venezuela, I think they have about 6 different types of currencies. They just kept making them up. So this one here, this big news out of Argentina, that blackout was just going to support everything that I said the other day when the new Faulkner Island currency. So this has all got to do with currencies coming out. As I said, I do wonder if they're going to peg to that new currency, that being the Faulkner Islands. Of course, Iran talking more and more about they're deleting the zeros. There was also another country that came out and talked about deleting the zeros as well today. The e-governance and the World Economic Forum. We talk about governance and how in the restructure of the IMF and the World Bank / BRICS pay system. Whilst BRICS was being implemented through Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa / Saudi Arabia, it was really big indicators several years ago that they were restructuring that of the World Economic Forum. They utilised it. Putin came out and was talking about the Western Economic Forum. Then there was an Eastern Economic Forum, and then they now call it the International Economic Forum. This is that slow transition or the smooth transition of the breakdown of the World Economic Forum. So the e-governance comes under play here, where each country and their currencies will have their original currencies. This has all got to do with the rare earth minerals and those assets that support each country. So the governance is going to be for that of the country to support their currency. We will do a big show on Friday where we go into, as I said, it was a big enough show today, so I don't want to tie people up for New Year's Eve celebrations, but we will get into that a lot more because there is a lot of substantial evidence that I have to show you the many, many changes that are going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, oh, the beautiful Colorado mama wants to speak. Well, I think we can let her come on to finish the show before we say a Happy New Year. So, Colorado mama, you are welcome to come up and say a quick hello, and we'll definitely be chatting together more, I think, on a Friday, as long as it allows me to allow you to speak.
You're magic.
Hello, honey. How are you?
I am so great. So, by the way, the color of the night is silver because a lot of people wearing this gorgeous silver gown tonight to the gala, to the New Year's gala. 100% silver. You might check it out.
I will. After the show, I will definitely have a look at that. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's amazing how they come up with $75 billion to infuse today. It was quite interesting. I wonder what money tree they went to get that. You know?
She comes on.
So,
exactly.
yeah, I am so jazzed about what's going to happen in the next 72 hours of life. And I still hold that tomorrow there's, 72 hours. I highly anticipate that we might have a surprise announcement tomorrow of some kind. And some things are happening, but they're not out in the front yet. So, but everything is underway in our lives. The fact that these really brilliant court systems took Trump's ability to have these National Guard in these cities, right? You see that?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Yes. However, under the Insurrection Act, as the king,
we gotta find out.
He's already got people. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. He's got staff of 500 specialized forces in all these cities, so they can give the holiday off to the National Guard, and we'll just bring in the tanks and everything else. There you go.
Yep.
Now there's a boom
Yeah.
shakalaka.
Absolutely. There was so many things to share tonight. It was incredible. As I was going through, they were just some highlights that I found. I mean, if I looked for another 4 hours, I could talk for 4 more hours about the highlights of the year and how we come to be displayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You're doing such a fabulous job. And I just want to say this. I know it comes with a price. And all of you who think that this is just something that she does for ego, I would highly doubt that. And you're a beautiful soul. You are a beautiful soul, and you are impacting people in ways you don't even know for legacies to come. And so hopefully we can come together and we can link.
But I gotta say on that, exactly what with my channel, how everybody thought asking for money. No, some people were saying, oh, this, that. No, it's just I put the cash out for people who would like to donate. I didn't ask for it and everything. It is my channel. You don't pay for my channel. You don't pay for nothing. It's free intel. And if people like to donate, that'll be great. But like I said, I'm not asking. It's just some people wanted to know and all that. So just to remind people on that.
We can come together and we can link our shields together, because we are strength. We are what is it? We are the offensive power. We are moving forward. We're not sitting defensive anymore. The king has won.
He certainly has. And that's why the whole King Charles thing is quite more important than, it's not about the King Charles, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new change of reign. And that is for certain. It's the gold card and everything as well. It is, it's all the little things that we talk about on this show. We can talk about the big fundamentals, but it's always those little things that come into play, and it is certainly looking exceptional. With the onset of everything that I mentioned, of course, in Thrilling Tuesday, everything is going to be implemented on January the 1st. As we say, 72-second rule for Elvis is 72 hours in the reality. So the 72 hours, the reason we say that, ladies and gentlemen, of course, is that they will do testing. I believe the word testing did come up in a Trump speech just the other day, and they will be doing testing during the closures tomorrow in your banks and banking areas. So please understand, there is a reason why there's a 72. It's not to say that we don't see or hear anything. As Colorado Mama said, we are expecting some form of announcement of some sort. What is it going to be? We really don't know. Every time we speculate, it's always something a little different to what we speculate, ladies and gentlemen. But please be resting assured that with everything that is implied or applying itself or implementing on the 1st of January, we are in for one heck of a ride. This roller coaster is just, we're at the peak. We're at the peak, and we're about to hit the marker, and we're just going to go whoosh, straight down, and it is going to come back up. So whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, to the beautiful Colorado Mama, thank you for all your love and support. To all those who have supported me through the year, it's been a very tough year. It certainly has, not just for myself, but my heart goes out to everyone, to all of the military, the National Guards and the National Securities, for all your services that you have or are still in progress. I know that there is also wars coming to an end. I saw Yemen, they're talking about the peace deal there in Yemen. So all of those beautiful souls and people who are carrying our freedoms in your hands, please know that you are loved, you are inspired, And thank you so much for the freedom that you have given us along the way. To everyone who is celebrating tonight, stay happy, happy, happy. To those who are struggling a little bit with whatever is struggling for in your hearts, please know that I carry that with every show that I do, and know that we are here for you. We'll be here again on Friday. We're going to have a Freedom Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about our freedoms and how we can become sovereign in ourself, in our spirit, financially, and everything else that we can do to find our own sovereignty and freedom. No matter what happens overnight, ladies and gentlemen, know that this is a new year, a new journey, a new life, and new beginnings, and a brand new world is about to happen.
Well said.
My love goes out to all of you, as I said, to everyone who has supported me and still supporting me in the background with all of your beautiful posts, your energy, your beautiful messages, your love, your kindness. It is given with great grace and gratitude from me, and we move forward into this beautiful, beautiful world. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Colorado Mama. Thank you to everyone. To everyone, a good night. God bless. We'll see you all on the flip side. Bye for now.
Yeah. Amen to that. And yes, we got to find out. I don't know. That's our Saturday. It might be Thursday. Friday it'll be Thursday, our time.
For what I was already doing out of.
What's up? Welcome back to Out of the Darkness. I am Q. So it's coming down the track. I did not think that the very first person that was probably going to be hauled off in handcuffs was going to be a Republican, but it's looking like it's going to be so. I really and truly don't care, Democrat, Republican. If you are a rhino, I have very little use for you. And the latest rhino to be going down, it looks like it's going to be Senator Thune. Senator Thune, if you guys are aware, he is the Senate Majority Leader, the most powerful man in the Senate, and he has now been referred to the FEC on a complaint of money laundering. Now, if you guys remember, not too long ago, about a week ago, I did a video on the smurfing method, whereas politicians have thousands and thousands of small donations, and they all, brag about having all of these small donations because it makes it look like there's thousands and thousands of people supporting their campaign, when really they're smurfing, meaning they actually have a small amount, 10, maybe 15 very, very wealthy, powerful people who are donating millions of dollars to their campaign, $30, $40 at a time. Now, this is illegal, but by doing those smaller amounts of money, they're able to have massive control and massive influence on the campaign, but the donors don't have to be disclosed to the FEC because they are micro donors, you might say. This is highly, highly illegal, and it's frustrating and should frustrate any of you, because what it's doing is it is hiding who the real masters are. You vote for them, but who's actually pulling the puppet strings? The people that are going through these backdoor methods, I would argue these are the people who are truly pulling the strings. These are the people that the politicians are actually working for. So this was actually found by an investigative journalist, Peter Berniger. And so not only has he referred Senator Thune, but he's also referred Senator Thune's treasurer, who's also being referred for several felony and several crimes that, would be felony charges. Okay. Now, before you go through this is probably a hit piece by a Democrat, I don't think so. So not only is it Senator Thune, but we also have Mark Kelly. We also have Adam Schiff, Tammy Baldwin, Lindsey Graham, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Stockin, Patty Murray, Raphael Warnock, Ruben Gallego, John Osef. All of these people have also been recently, within the last year, reported by the same person. I don't believe this is politically motivated, if for nothing else, but by a patriot saying, no. You guys aren't going to continue working under the table, moonlighting for this small 10, 15 person group and working for special interest and saying that you're out here working for us when we're the ones who are voting for you. We're the ones who you are using to fund your pet projects. I don't think Trump is on his way to help Mr. Thune either. I reported a while back how Donald Trump is very angry with Senator Thune because, one, there are dozens of appointments that Donald Trump has made that have not been voted on in the Senate, which is frustrating him because there are vacancies in his cabinet. In addition to that, he's very angry with Mr. Thune because he has asked repeatedly for the filibuster to be removed and to vote on a bill that would require voter ID for all 50 states for federal elections. Now, why would any Republican have a problem with doing this? And if you also remember, Senator Thune was the one who wanted to remove Trump and install Mike Pence as president. So he's definitely on the naughty list. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you have a problem with a Republican going down if they're a rhino? Or do you feel that, hey, if they're a rhino, they're just as bad as a Democrat? I'll see you guys next time. Be blessed.
Okay, our second cue. We got, all right, go to no longer. Yes, remember this one?
Anybody can kiss my fucking ass. I'm not paying my fucking taxes. Period. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving 50% of every fucking penny I make to a government that's going to give it and allow politicians and illegal immigrants to invade our country and then fucking rob us blind. So kiss my fucking ass. Go get your own fucking taxes. Check this out.
You have just reported you to the police, okay?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not breaking any laws.
You are racist.
I'm not.
Huh?
I'm just asking, is this a child care center?
I know who you are.
Okay, is this a child care center?
You are terrorist.
I'm a what?
Yeah. No.
I'm a what? Did you say I'm a terrorist?
You are racist. I know who you are, fucking guy.
We are here at the Bonatti Child Care 2 LLC on Cleveland Ave in Columbus, Ohio at 5 p.m. On a weekday. It says that they are open from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Sunday. And, it's 5 p.m. right now, and we'll knock on the door and see if anyone's actually here. Doesn't look like there's anyone that would be here. Certainly not a place that I would want my children, if I had kids, to be. I'll wait a couple more seconds, maybe give it another knock. Don't hear anything, no cars, and it's 5 p.m., so there would be, you would think, lots of pickups going on if this were actually a active child care center. There is a camera right there.
2 minutes.
Right up there, you see. So they do have some sort of activity going on. There's a boutique right next door, so with Arabic writing on it. There's someone looking through now the corner, so she just popped through. I don't know if she's going to come out or not. I didn't see any kids in there. Don't see any pickups going on. But there was a woman in there, so she did peek through, not opening the door. We'll wait another 10 seconds or so. We'll see. Don't believe they're going to be coming to the door, but there was someone peeking through right through that window. So there are people in there, or at least one person that we know of. Does not appear to be an actual daycare center, though. So should be some investigations going into this soon, hopefully. Hey, man, is this a child care center? Hey, is this a child care center?
Why are you recording?
I'm asking a question. Is this a child care center?
Why are you recording?
Is this a child care center?
No.
It's not?
Stop recording.
It's not our child. Why can't I record?
Stop recording. You're resisting. Why are you recording?
Because I'm curious if this is a child care center.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ohio.
No. Who's in you?
Me. I'm an independent person. I own my own company.
So you are a YouTuber, so you need social media.
I mean, I represent myself.
If you have just reported you to the police, okay?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not breaking any laws.
You are resisting.
I'm not.
Huh?
I'm just asking, is this a child care center?
I know who you are.
Okay, is this a child care
You are
center?
terrorist.
I'm a what?
Yeah.
I'm a what? Did you say I'm a
You are
terrorist?
resisting. I know who you are. Fucking guy.
You said I'm fucking gay, I guess? Is that what you just said? Are there any kids in there? Is this an actual child care center? Okay. Have a good one.
That was an interesting one. The next one is 5. Let me know if I should stop or play.
What's going on?
What is going on?
It's terrible how it's misused.
We spent 3 months digging through records, doing surveillance, talking with insiders.
It's big. It's bigger than I think the state realizes.
To expose a scheme that's costing tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars a week.
It's a lot of work, and you have to make sure that, everything's following the rules.
Yasmin Ali is the owner of Deco Family Centers. This is her giving a tour to an undercover Fox 9 producer.
A lot of people that we work with that are low-income families.
Ali tells our producer that many of her customers are on assistance. They qualify to have the government pay for their kids' child care. They can get that help if they're working, training for a job, or hunting for one.
I think it's doing a disservice to the people that truly do need childcare assistance.
We interviewed 4 Deco employees who have intimate knowledge of the operation. They've also shared information with government fraud investigators. 2 agreed to talk on camera as long as we disguised them.
So they were misrepresenting a lot of what was going on there.
Exactly.
According to our sources, Deco was actively recruiting women who qualify for child care assistance and offering them jobs at the centers, some to watch their own kids. A fact these moms confirmed to us.
Hello. Do you work here?
Yeah.
You do? How many children do you have?
2.
2? And the children come here as well?
Yeah.
Who pays for their child care?
For the child care money,
Yes,
the county.
the county.
Deco then bills the county for child care while the moms are supposedly working.
Were these legitimate jobs or not?
No, there were too many that were being hired. We didn't even need that many.
Our informants tell us that only a small percentage of the moms did anything.
2%. 2%.
Did some kind of work.
Did some kind of work. Sometimes they would come in, sign their children in, sign themselves in, and go grocery shopping.
Our sources say the more children a woman had to enroll in childcare, the more she'd make per hour. even though she had the same job title as all the other moms.
The reason for that is because then they had more assistance for each of the families.
On numerous occasions, we saw lots of women coming to the centers, each with 4, 5, or more kids in tow.
Her value was in how many children she had.
According to government records, DECO's Minneapolis and St. Paul centers were each eligible to receive nearly $50,000 in child care assistance funds every 2 weeks. Do the math. That's over $2 million a year.
They're making a ton of money.
According to our insiders, timesheets were submitted to the county, which inflated the hours the moms actually spent in the centers, allowing DECO to bill the government for maximum childcare time.
So they fixed the time schedule.
Correct.
A lot of women they did this for?
Yes.
State inspection reports obtained by the Fox 9 investigators show DECO has previously been cited for a number of logistical problems, including a lack of keeping accurate records of when staff worked. They were also fined for failing to do background checks on employees in order to provide documented proof that staff members received mandated safety training.
While employed there, I saw falsifying documentation.
So the record showed they'd received this training, but in fact they had not.
Correct.
I stopped by DECO's Apple Valley office to speak with owner Yasmin Ali. She wouldn't go on camera, but I did record our conversation.
We're told that you were falsifying records to get childcare money.
That's not true, but as I say, I'm not going to have any comments right now.
In addition to all the funds for childcare, DECO was also getting public money for kids' meals. The Minneapolis Center got nearly $90,000 for food in its first year of operation. This place did the catering. It's owned by Yasmin Ali's brothers.
We obtained a copy of the catering contract signed by Adarus Ali. We've seen his signature before on federal court documents. In 2009, Ali pled guilty to perjury. The Justice Department says he lied to a federal grand jury, testified he knew nothing about Somali men from Minnesota being recruited by a terrorist group to fight in their homeland, when in fact, he sat in on a discussion and even drove some of the men to Twin Cities International for their flight to Somalia. Ali did not respond to numerous requests by the Fox 9 investigators for it.
It's not difficult to see.
Okay, I thought that was important. I got Doug video still to come. I'm going to play this one. Well, I guess I can't. I don't think we played this one.
Breaking, country bleeding, $8 billion quietly siphoned out of America's welfare system, traced straight back to a network operating in Minnesota, a network that investigators now whispered had ties to none other than Representative Ilhan Omar. And if that wasn't enough to make every taxpayer spit out their morning coffee, the ripple effects had already hit their wallets, their neighborhoods, their damn sanity. I-teenenness. That's how the story broke, not through a polished press conference or a sanitized government memo, but through a cold statistic dropped like a grenade onto the nation's breakfast tables. And suddenly, every American who had watched their rent climb like a rocket, or had argued with an insurance company bleeding them dry, or had sat in a hospital waiting room for 8 hours wondering when this country had lost its mind, they all wanted answers. Real answers. Not excuses. Not speeches. Not the political yoga poses the previous administration had mastered. Because by the time Donald J. Trump returned as the 47th president, the country he reclaimed looked like a battlefield after a general who never understood strategy had marched through it blindfolded. Everywhere you looked, Americans were pissed, and rightfully so. Rent? Sky high. Insurance? A joke with a deductible? Hospitals overflowing like it was doomsday season? Public schools? Slipping faster than a greased sled on ice. Crime in blue state cities? Exponential was the polite word. Holy hell was the honest one. And as all of this simmered, the responsibility to explain it fell squarely onto one man who had never shied away from a political knife fight. Stephen Miller. Inside the West Wing, he moved like a surgeon, precise, methodical, every word a scalpel slicing through chaos. He'd been tasked by President Trump himself to lead a nationwide investigation into the real causes of America's domestic crisis. And Miller already knew. The numbers didn't lie. They never had. But people did, especially politicians. At the same time, Tom Homan, the grizzled ICE veteran who treated bureaucracy like an enemy combatant, was sending report after report to the White House, each one more alarming than the last. Stephen Homan said one morning, dropping a stack of folders onto Miller's desk so hard the coffee mug trembled, "We've got a damn avalanche on our hands." Miller didn't look up. Define avalanche. Homan crossed his arms, jaw locking with that signature ICE boss intensity, a spike in illegal entries during Biden's final years, far beyond anything they publicly admitted. Thousands of individuals carrying Social Security numbers that don't match, don't validate, or don't belong to them at all. And welfare disbursements. He tapped one folder that looked less like government assistance and more like a money laundering fire hose. Miller finally raised an eyebrow, his version of a gasp. Scale? Unusually large. Doesn't cut it, Homan muttered. We're talking an entire shadow economy. And yet, the data pointed overwhelmingly to one place, Minnesota. A state known for lakes, passive-aggressive politeness, and now apparently welfare anomalies large enough to make Wall Street analysts double-check their spreadsheets. Internal reports exposed a pattern that was impossible to brush aside. A disproportionately high number of questionable cases linked to the Somali community. Welfare numbers that jumped during the final year of the Biden administration jumped so absurd that even career bureaucrats raised eyebrows and whispers inside ICE and DHS that a political figure, someone with influence, resources, and motive might be orchestrating it from behind. $8 billion.
Okay, I got the second part. I'm going to do the last one. Will be Doug videos, 12 minutes.
Venture capital firms, which went from 0 to 60 billion in assets in about 1 year. I mean, wow. Talk about, you must know his stuff clearly, right? And her husband happens to be, I mean, I don't care, but he happens to be a white guy. And I say that because Ilhan Omar has made a point of expressing how America, specifically America, needs to be extremely concerned, should be worried about white men because they are the ones who are dangerous. They are the ones that Americans should really have their eye on. This guy's a new one on TikTok. Just find out very interesting that while she's so concerned about America, she is literally married to what some might say is the enemy then, if that's how she feels. But, you know, her words, not mine. Take a listen.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
I mean, you can't make this up. I guess she's not that concerned about how dangerous they are. I mean, she lays in bed next to one every night. I find that rich that she would say that, yet the way she lives her life speaks very differently. Nonetheless, let's get to the main story here, where her husband, this dangerous person, Ilhan Omar's husband, $30 million firm, quietly scrubs names from the company's website as squad members face mounting questions on sudden wealth amid Minnesota welfare fraud. And so what's happened very recently, we know about the fraud that's being uncovered in Minnesota. We know about how she was directly connected to the Feeding Our Future scam, Somali restaurant, the Safari restaurant, where you can go on it. I've shared this on this channel before. She's literally on camera showing and supporting this restaurant and saying that they're feeding all these kids. It's still up on YouTube. It's still on X right now. You can research it. Safari Restaurant, Ilhan Omar. You'll see it exactly what I'm talking about. The owner went down for fraud, as well as many. And so there you have that. And so.
Okay, yeah, that's a new guy on TikTok. To finish off with one Doug here. He has a second one that just came out. I don't know if you guys want me to play both of them or not. Somebody want me to play both the Doug videos.
Welcome to Doug in Exile. Come on in, my happy patriots. This is where we get happy together. Why? Because freedom is alive, even in Iran. And the leftist media does not want to report to you because they're in bed with Islamic radicalism.
The mainstream media. Where is Ayatollah BBC? Where is Sky News? Where is CNN? Where are all these networks in covering what's happening in Iran right now? Protests against a barbaric, evil, brutal regime in the Islamic Republic.
They despise freedom and real free women in Iran, including Christians and people that are for free speech and for women that want to take off their hijabs. It is not being reported to you, and I'm reporting it to you. I want to call my audience to pray for freedom in Iran, for moderate Muslims and the Christians there. And yes, anyone who is against that terrible regime.
So Iran today, 2 points I want to make about Iran, and it's really important. When we talk about Iran, I'm talking about the radical Shia clerics and not the people. The people of Iran are people of an ancient civilization, an ancient culture with tremendous pride and advances. And I don't know who take great pride in their Persian heritage and identity. And I don't know of any nation on earth in which there is a bigger difference between the people and those who govern them than what exists in Iran. And that's a fact that needs to be made repeatedly. In no way is the clerics who run that country representative of the people of that country and of its history and of contributions it's made to humanity. And it's a point I wish we would continue to make.
Check this out. Iranian streets are filled up for the fourth day as freedom-loving people around the world celebrate the new year. I'm asking you to take a few minutes today to pray for the people of Iran. If you see footage of them in the streets, do your best to confirm it and share it. People have a hard time believing things without seeing evidence. The current regime will do everything it can to prevent brave voices from being seen and heard. This is why it's crucial for those of you who are willing to share what you can whenever you can. Here's the streets. I'm sure. It's called like Green Revolution. The people that want the freedom, no hijab, they're against the Ayatollahs and all the religious radicals. And I think, frankly, we should be arming the dissent, is my view on it. Obama would never help the dissenters enough. Here's more breaking. The Islamic Republic have lost control of every major city in Iran. This is 2C TV official. We will shortly go live on 2C with all of the coverage. Khomeini could be out. Here's more. Shocked that New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Washington Post do not have headline coverage of the protests in Iran. IRGC, Islamic Republic, falling would be one of the best events for American national security in my lifetime. American support for the protesters would be meaningful. And I'm holding up my hand. Doug in Exile, we support the protesters. Do you support them? Let me know in the chat below. Say that you support the Iranian protesters. Why is mainstream media not interested in covering it? I'm going to answer that in this video. Let's watch the video first. This movement bubbles up every couple of years. And the regime comes out with their sniper fire and shoots civilians down, unarmed civilians, by the way. Here's Mark Chingazi on the unholy alliance between the Western left, that's our leftist media, Zoran Mamdani, Democrats, and the LGBTQ movement, and Islamism. Moment number 543. Watch this.
Left and Islamism. Much of the West rightly recognizes Islamofascism as one of the great totalitarian threats of our time. Yet many who grasp that danger mistakenly equate Islamism, Islamofascism, with Islam itself, erasing the immense diversity of Muslim thought and culture. The tragedy is that this conflation is not only made by the right, but is actively reinforced by the left. For decades, the mainstream media, steeped in post-colonial guilt and Cold War reflexes that paint the West as the global villain, has treated Islamists as the authentic representatives of Muslims. Because Islamists position themselves as victims of Western imperialism, they fit perfectly into the left's favored oppressed versus oppressor narrative. Reformist or ex-Muslim voices, however,
which is also Marxism. So this is not, I'm against Islam in general, but that's not specifically what I'm against in this case. I'm against the Islamic radicals, and we do have to make a difference between Islamic radicals and Muslims in general. Here's from Dan Fremont, also, no word from America's enemies, including the psychotic right. This is the Triple Alliance. The woke left has this hammer and sickle here. That's Ilhan Omar. Those would be the ones that say oppressor versus the oppressed. And that's why they're silent on this whole thing. Here's the Islamicists. They're in the middle here. And then over here on the right is the woke right with the Pepes and the Tucker Carlsons of the world. I'll get into more of that in a minute. Here's Tokyo Rosie. The video on the left is of a woman in Iran throwing off her burqa in defiance of the oppressive Islamic theocracy in her country that treats women like second-class citizens. Let's watch. She's turning her hijab around, taking it off, so the way can get you arrested. She's actually a brave freedom fighter. And then I'm going to show you this. Where's this? The women with the burqas. Oh, this is in Toronto, Canada, where they're all kneeling with their burqas on, head wraps on. So this kind of goes to show why the totalitarians are finding so much help from the left. Here it is explained further by Erica Laban.
Against the regime. There's actually a very simple and clear answer, and you're going to understand it like that once I put it into a conceptual framework for you to make sense of. Here's the tough pill to swallow. The reason that the mainstream media will not report on Iran is because the Islamic regime is their ally. Okay, their ally in what? Their ally in the war on the West. The war on the West was originally fought by the communists against the West. Now the baton has been passed to the Islamists. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Islamists are not alone in their war on the West. They're actually working with their allies who are internal. Okay, so the Western left are their allies. But it's not just the Western left anymore. There's now been a fusion between the woke left and the woke right. They've made a super pact, right? They are now the
woke right being Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, people on the right that are frankly anti-America. They're going, the whole system has failed, so we're against it. And they have a common enemy, of course, of Christian dispensationalists that are pro-Israel and Israel itself.
Super woke. So the Islamists are in an alliance with the super woke to destroy the Western world. Now you have the foundations. Let's talk about the role of mainstream media. Mainstream media, okay, their responsibility in this war is to manage your perception, how you see the world. How you see the world is shaped by what you are exposed to. Therefore, the mainstream media is curating an alternative universe where you see exactly what they want you to see in accordance with this story that they're creating. What is that story? The story is that the West is the source of all evil, and the jihadists are actually just oppressed freedom fighters. So what happens? Let's put our thing.
This was the same thing with the Black Panthers, founded an alliance with the Muslims. Remember Cat Stevens converted to Islam, the singer of Cat, the Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Moon and Peace Train. They found a home with the socialists, but she's doing great. That's why I am against the woke mainstream media, and that's why I'm exposing this story. I'm showing you this story of the freedom fighters in Iran who are pro-West. Here's Goldie Gamari. Western politicians and police are bending over backwards to convince the masses that Islamic terrorism has nothing to do with religion. Meanwhile, in occupied Iran, Iranians are staging mass anti-Islam demonstrations to overthrow the Ayatollahs and get rid of Sharia law. So these are the protesters against the Islamic religion being forced by them. Meanwhile, in America, you have universities, they're putting out Islamic prayer mats, speaking against the Jews, etc. In Iran, they're taking down the flags, they're calling it the flag of the terrorist Islamic Republic while under fire. Let me show you this clip. This is the Islamic flag being taken down in Islam. Those are the protesters tearing it down. And meanwhile, that same flag is being flown by Keir Starmer in the UK. Keir Starmer is protecting that flag that they're tearing down in Iran. Do you get it yet? The communists around the world, the leftists around the world. Here's breaking Tehran. This is from December 31st. This is just a while ago in Tehran. People are still out there protesting in full. Do not leave them alone. Be their voices and help share. I'm here to help share this. This is the 5th day in a row. And the people are waking up. Good. I'm here to help them with theirs. And then I wanted to end on this beautiful piece here. I'm not saying I agree with this girl, don't know anything about her, but this woman was very brave. She removed her hijab on the train and started singing in Iran, which is against the law. Let's listen to some of that.
I don't want to hear that. That was just about over, you guys. That was his last 30 seconds, I think. Okay, everybody. Wow, I think we got a big show today. Big show for our first show of 2026. As soon as that time out with the Australia lady on Friday. So will that be Thursday? Thursday our day? I think it would be Thursday night. I think it's Thursday. So yeah, as soon as her video gets out, I'll be playing it. Thanks, Kay. Well, God bless everybody. Remember, please hit the like. Sub to the backup channels, please. And stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, and never give up. Anything develops, I'll be coming back on if anything breaks, like usual. So, signing off, Chico and Dude. Until tomorrow evening, unless something happens. Bless everybody, love all.